Hey guys, what is going on? Beast here, coming at you with a series that can only be made by people that can't get in a Challenger, which will be our solo queue into Masters, which is where we just take a look at a few games to see what we did right and wrong and how we can improve. Now in this first game I actually played Olaf because I knew it was a very good pick into Gnar, but I get ganked super early from Kog'Maw at 2 minutes and 40 seconds, which I didn't expect because that's really early for somebody to finish their jungle clear. And after he killed me, he actually invaded our Rammus, and we could have killed him if our Ornn 1 wasn't completely retarded or 2 wasn't playing Ornn mid, because despite popular belief, Ornn is not actually a mid laner. He is more of a support and possibly a top laner. I think he's just a support though, but obviously with new champions people play him everywhere. And here Gnar stepped up really far because he was like looking at another lane. And I thought I could kill him, but it turns out I'm retarded. And I thought that last auto attack would have killed him, but I didn't realize he had Ninja Tabby, so I tried to back away and possibly live. But overall, it's really stupid to dive in those situations because I was kind of low on mana. And it did end up getting me killed because if I would have been able to throw another axe, I would have killed him. But I used it on W instead. But after that, I made a TP on the bot lane just because Kog'Maw was super fed and I really didn't want them to get tower. And I do end up killing the Kog'Maw, but he does so much damage to me that I end up getting killed as well. But after that, Gnar got caught out in the top lane, and this could have actually turned out for a triple kill, but we just didn't have any spells left because we used way too much on Gnar, who was basically a free kill. And Rammus also went for Sona, which I personally think was the wrong decision because Kog'Maw was a much higher priority target, so I definitely think we should have killed him over Sona. But I just didn't think he was thinking about stuff like that in his mind. And a little later we got caught out in the mid lane, or my team did, and 3 of them end up dying and we lose inhibitor for it. But after that, Tristana actually stayed for the top tower way too late because she was just too hungry for the tower, and she ends up dying to Twitch because of it and because of his stealth. But we did end up getting caught out by a wombo combo with Gnar and Sona, which really screwed us because I didn't have ult, and then we started just making our final stand at the base because we had no inhib towers. And we do actually hold them off for a while, definitely longer than I thought, but they basically just take the Baron after we all died. And I thought actually Tristana was actually going to end here, but she went for the Lulu, which was actually really funny, and then Twitch spawned and killed her. But yeah, this is where we lose. And I think that this game would have been a lot different if we had really any other mid laner to output damage, because the only damage that we had on our team was Twitch and kind of me and Rammus. And Rammus really only had damage because of how auto attack based that they were. So I think Rammus was a great pick here, but Ornn mid is just not meta right now. You know, unless Faker plays Ornn mid, I'm not really going to believe that it is meta. But because of that, and because of my mistakes, we end up losing 16 LP. But in our next game, we go back to playing tanks because I hate losing. And I thought I could 1v1 J4 here because I know he had minion advantage, but he had more damage than I thought he did. And my E actually didn't kill the minions, which might have actually let me live and possibly kill him. But because I died, I just played like a bitch in lane after that and started doing what tanks do, which is be useful around the map and not in lane. And I TP bot, and we do get a kill on the Draven, and Sivir does live. And the Sivir was actually really good, despite how she did in laning phase, because she actually did very poorly in laning phase, but I think that's just a lot of people that have to play against Draven, because Draven is very oppressive in lane with how much damage he does with his axes. But Thresh stayed with no mana, so then we eventually pick up the kill, and we had a little tower race here, which we actually won for first tower because Lee went on minions and tried to kill them. But here I did not think this would happen, and they actually chain CC'd me a lot better than I thought they did. And I almost lived, but I didn't pop my corrupting pot early enough, because if I would have done it at the very start when they charmed me, I would have actually been able to sustain enough damage through when Jarvan flashed on me. But it was actually kind of worth because our AD carry actually picked up all the kills, which just made her more fed than she already was because she was really far ahead from when we went bot lane. And yeah, I don't know what's happening with my screen because I know that's been there for the past 3 games if you look at the top. and I think my OBS is just messed up. I'm definitely going to fix that before next video. But after that, we get a pick on the Thresh, and they were actually able to take Rift Herald and almost take mid, because they got a few picks on us, and they actually capitalized on it. But here, I landed a hook on Draven, and I thought that we would be able to kill him, but Sivir actually didn't crit once, which is actually one of the biggest reasons why I hate AD carry, because sometimes it is relying on RNG, and I think that's really stupid to rely on something like that, which is why I never play AD carry. Which actually makes a huge difference, because at this point in the fight, if Draven wasn't here, then Lucian and Rammus can actually pick up the rest of the kills. So because the RNG failed us, we basically lost the fight, and we all got ace. But luckily they weren't able to take Baron because they were too low. And we go back to the mid lane for another fight, and because Sivir actually gets some crits, and also they were just very poorly grouped, because you saw there was only 3 of them there. It actually made a huge difference, because then only Jarvan was able to try and kill Sivir, and he didn't have enough damage because he wasn't building full damage. So he ends up not being able to kill her, and then she just runs through everybody else because of how much she can crit. And I do think Sivir is a very good pick. I know a lot of people don't like her, and that's just because there is a lot of bad Sivirs, and there's certainly a lot more bad ones than there are good ones, because she can be a very oppressive pick if you are good with her. But that is the case with any other AD carry. You know, I'm sure Gosu, just because he was scripting, which was actually proven, even though he was scripting, he was still a godlike Vayne player, and it didn't matter even if he got countered or if he got behind, because he was still going to be relevant because of how good he was. But here, Lee Sin actually made a really nice kick and kicked through 3 of us, but Rammus was just too tanky, and we were actually able to win this game simply because the Draven was so retarded that he just kept focusing Rammus over and over and over. And because the game went on so long, I was just able to get my stone plate, and since Sivir was already fed, she was basically full build at this point, and because I had stone plate, I could just tank anything, and I didn't have to worry like in the other team fights, which is why I would die, is because I didn't have my stone plate. And it really is one of the most key items on basically any tank. But we get the ace, and Sivir actually gets a pentakill, and we end up getting 16 LP. But in this next game, we were playing with the Blitzcrank, and he wanted to invade, and this Rek'Sai thought that he would miss hook, or I assume that he was hoping, and I make sure to steal that shit because I really wanted an advantage in this game, because I did want to do well on Olaf, because I haven't been performing my best on him as of late, and I actually almost missed the kill here because I was leveling up my W, but it actually turns out to help a lot because Rek'Sai comes in, and he can't kill us just because Maokai is way too fucking tanky, and he is permabanned, and he should be permabanned, but when he gets through, it is always picked, especially in higher elo. And since I got a lead, I am of course stupid as fuck, and I waste it all and die under tower, and I really need to stop doing this because it happens almost every game or every other game. But after making my retarded mistake, I pick up 2 kills on him, and actually nothing happened for the rest of the game. You can see when I killed Gnar, I was 4-1-1, and I ended the game 4-1-2. So it was really just us pushing towers, and they just kind of let us because they were like super tilted. So yeah, but it was a free win. I don't really care, and we get a free 18 LP, which I will always ride the free LP train to victory. Oh yeah, and our Jhin was kind of 6-1. But in our next game, this Singed thought that it was season 2, so he tried to level 1 cheese my minions, and because he had Ghost and I had Ghost, it was really just a matter of if I could land my axes really. And I threw this one too far because I was trying to throw my axes further so that the slow would last longer and I would get more auto attacks off. And I was going to kill him here, but Jarvan comes in just so he can get a free assist, and I do lose the entire first wave of XP, which actually kind of fucks me, because then he gets a huge XP lead and he's able to go on me because I'm greedy as hell and I try and stay, even though I have no mana and no XP. But my plan here was just to get executed, and I thought I was going to be able to do that because I knew Talia was coming down, but she was coming down from the river. And here I actually try and go for the suicide, but then Hecarim comes in at the last second, and at this point I was basically screwed. But what I really should have done is I really should have just not have been so greedy, and I should have backed after I got the kill and just accepted the fact that he was going to be up in XP for a little while. But after that, nothing happens for a very long time because I can't do anything against a Singed pre-6 because he can just flip me and run away. But I actually land all my axes here and I play it perfectly, which I was actually kind of proud of myself. But after that, I made a TP play bot lane because I thought they would need help, but it turns out that they were gonna kill him anyway, and I basically just took a free kill. But I am an Olaf player, so I am entitled to everything on the map that I desire. And I actually kill Singed again, and the Singed wasn't necessarily bad, but I just don't think he was trying because he had a lot of stupid deaths that people wouldn't normally have, and a lot of the times I killed him, I probably either would have died or would not have gotten the kill if I would have misplayed it, but because I did have 2 warm-up games with Olaf, I was playing really well on him and I wasn't really messing up mechanically anymore. But here they almost catch me out because I thought I could 3v1, but in Diamond I'm actually not as strong as I am in lower elo because in lower elo they just would have let me run them down. But I do pinch my asshole tight enough and I am able to live just with a sliver of health. But here I started trying to go in and poking them, which is a bad habit that I often fall into on Olaf, and because of it I get knocked over by Talia, and then Singed flips me, and then Tom eats me and drags me under tower, and then I end up dying, which is just a very series of unfortunate events. But a little later, I was just trying to mind my own business and ward, and then Singed actually flips me over the wall, so I'm like, I'm gonna fuck that Talia for what she did to me earlier. And I did fuck her, but then Kog'Maw kind of just destroys me. More or less just because it's Kog'Maw, and Kog'Maw does do massive damage to really anybody, regardless if you're a tank or a squishy. He's just a very high damage AD carry at any point in the game because of how much on-hit damage he has and percent health damage. But once again, I am able to clinch my anus hard enough, and I do live again with another sliver of HP, and that basically guarantees our win because we are able to take bot inhib off that. And for our last fight, I was actually going to die to Kog'Maw, but then Tahm Kench eats him, which I thought was really troll because he actually would have killed me. And like, they weren't going to win the fight anyway, but it was still pretty troll that he took that kill away from him. But anyway, we get 18 LP and we end off this video at 50 LP. But if you guys did like it, don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe, or call the police and tell them that there's an mentally handicapped person posting videos on the internet. But until next time, guys, I will see you in my next video. And also, quick side note, my editor had some problems with rendering and I don't know when the video is going to come.